Hello everyone. Today I'm discussing what makes a person an astrologer according to the Jaimini system. And in the description I will reference the sutras that describe the different types of astrologers, the actual sutras from Jaimini that you can look up. But before I get into that, I'd like to tell you that I'm currently working on my website. It's a work in progress, and I'm developing courses in all areas of Vedic astrology designed for Western astrologers. If you're not a Western astrologer, you're already a Vedic astrologer, you can look at it as well. But I'm leaving out most of the Sanskrit terms, and if I do use them, I translate them. Okay? And then I expect it will take about a month to be completed, and it will be subscription based with some free videos as well. So just to let you know, if you go to my website and it's under construction, that's why. I am still giving readings, and all the information about the types of readings I do and is on my website. So if you're interested in readings, please follow the link in the description. Okay? Okay, so since this is Jaimini, we are looking for three things, okay? The atmakaraka in the birth chart and the navamsha, which is the 9th divisional chart. Number 2, we're looking for the pada in the birth chart, or we're looking at the pada. And number 3, the upapada in the birth chart. And I explained in a previous video how to find the pada and upapada, which means the foot and the secondary foot. That's what it means in English. And but I'm going to explain it briefly here in case you didn't see that video, and it's pretty easy. So, all right, all you do to find the pada is you count the number of signs from the ascendant to its ruler. So if you are a Pisces ascendant and Jupiter is in Libra, then you would count from Pisces to Libra, which is 8 signs away, and you always start with the ascendant when you count, and then you count 8 signs away from Libra, which is Taurus, so Taurus would be the pada. And for these, I do not use, this is Vedic astrology, so we're not using outer planets as rulerships for Pisces, Aquarius, or Scorpio, okay? And to find the upapada, you do the same thing, except you count from the sign which holds the midheaven, or the 10th house cusp. And in this system, the upapada is the pada of the 10th house or midheaven. That's what I use to find the upapada, not the pada of the 2nd house or the pada of the 12th house, but the pada of the 10th house cusp, okay, the midheaven. All right, so there is an exception to this rule. If the ruler of your ascendant is in the 7th sign from the ascendant, or if the ruler of the ascendant is in the ascendant, then the pada automatically goes to the 10th sign from the ascendant. Okay, that's the exception to the rule. And the other exception is if the ruler of the ascendant is in the 4th sign or the 10th sign from the ascendant, then the pada automatically goes to the 4th sign from the ascendant. Okay, that's the other exception, and these same rules apply when finding the upapada, or the secondary foot. Okay, after I explain this technique, I will use 3 examples of astrologers to demonstrate the technique in action. And so after you've found your pada and upapada in the birth chart, and you know where your atmakaraka is in the birth chart and the navamsha, which is the 9th divisional chart, you look at those signs, and you look at the 2nd sign, the 3rd sign, and the 5th sign from those places. Okay, so remember, if it's a feminine sign, you count backwards, and for masculine signs, you count forwards. Okay, you look for Venus, so in these places, either join the atmakaraka in the birth chart or the 9th divisional chart, or in the pada or in the upapada, that's the 1st sign from these places, the second sign from those places, the third sign from those places, or the fifth sign. You want to look, and what you look for is Venus, Jupiter, or Ketu, or any variation of these in those signs. And yeah, that's what you look for. If you have any of these planets, any of these three planets in any combination, or just even one of them, and the 8th house is involved with these combinations, then you have astrological ability. Okay? Now, this is what Jaimini says about Venus. This is the sutra translated into English exactly. Okay? Venus, a poet, eloquent, and wise as a sage, knowing prophecy. All right, if you want to be an astrologer, you have to relate to people, obviously, and knowing prophecy is great. So you already can spout out prophecy if you have Venus in any of these places. Venus will give you that ability. It doesn't matter about the dignity right now. The better the dignity, a little bit better, but not much. But you are a sage and you're knowing prophecy. Also Venus, in the myth of Venus, Venus was the guru of the Asuras, and the Asuras were the so-called demons, but it doesn't really have that evil of a connotation, but they were always fighting the Devas. And it's two cosmic forces that are at war with each other, and Venus was their guru, and he was given the power to resurrect. And he also rules like psychotherapy and counseling people in mundane affairs. And obviously you want to be able to do that when you counsel people as an astrologer. Now this is what Jaimini says about Jupiter. Jupiter, all-knowing and one who understands the joints or divisions of time. Also says, not one speaking well or much, and particularly a grammarian and knowing the Vedas. So Jupiter is all-knowing, much like, so if Jupiter is all-knowing, you can look at a chart and immediately use your intuition, and not only that, but you have all of the memory from memorizing all of the yogas and everything that you've learned, all of the skills you've learned, obviously. And Jupiter was the guru of the Devas, so he was all-knowing, and he is a spiritual counselor. He counsels people in spiritual matters rather than mundane psychological matters. He can counsel in that way as well, but he uses more of a spirituality-based or a faith-based way of counseling. Okay? Now, Jaimini says about Ketu. Ketu is the third planet that you want to look for in these positions. Ketu, knowledge of mathematics and astronomical calculations. And of course you want to know how to do that when you're an astrologer. Now, if you have Venus or Jupiter, or Venus and Jupiter, and you don't have Ketu, then when you're reading someone's chart and you're all into it, you're all into the intuition of it, and things are flowing through you, and you're seeing the symbols of their chart, if they want to switch gears and kind of catch you off guard and ask about something completely different, you have to go look at that, and that's where you have to use your astronomical ability and the skills that you've learned, everything you've memorized, and use that rather than your all-knowingness like Jupiter, or your prophecy like Venus. And that way you can calculate, and you can logically look at something and make a prediction without using any type of intuition. Okay? So yeah, those are the three planets that can make an astrologer. If you have one or two or more, if you have all three, then you really can be a very good astrologer. If you have one, you can be a good astrologer, but if you have three, it works very well. And this has to be connected to the 8th house, okay? The 8th house is the house of psychics, astrology, the occult, things of that nature. This is what Parashara says about the 8th house. And Jaimini even says in the beginning of his chapter to consult other authoritative horoscopy or authoritative texts on horoscopy. So he actually tells you to look at what Parashara says or other of his contemporaries as well as what he's telling you. So this is what Parashara says about the 8th house. The 8th house: longevity, battle, cheats, impassable strongholds, wealth of the dead, and the soul's course. What begins and what after the wise see, all from the split cavity flaw house. So what begins and what after the wise see, that's the past and the future. So astrologers, people who do astrology for a living, really need to have that 8th house connected to what I just explained, the positions of Jupiter, Venus, or Ketu in these charts. Either they have to be conjoining the 8th house cusp, the 8th lord has to be with them, or one of them is the 8th lord, or the 8th lord is Rashi aspecting. Any of those kinds of combinations will make an astrologer. All right, now we're going to look at a couple of charts of astrologers, 2 famous ones and 1 not so famous, and it'll show you this technique in action. Okay, thanks. Here we go. Okay, so here we have the chart of Noel Tyl. He is a very famous Western astrologer, and it will show up here very well. Okay, so Noel Tyl's atmakaraka is Mercury. Okay, there's Mercury. Now, here is Mercury in Capricorn, and it is joined the 8th house cusp, and it's with Jupiter. Boom. There you go. He's an astrologer. And so this is the Campanus house system, and I go by the joining house cusps. So, yeah, there's Mercury. Now, if we want to count, because it's in Capricorn, we count backwards. So, is there anything in the 2nd from Mercury? No. Well, there's Rahu, but Rahu doesn't give astrological ability. Is there anything from the 3rd? No. Is there anything in the 5th? No. Okay, so in his birth chart, Mercury with Jupiter in the 8th house is enough to do it. Well, let's see what else he has. Okay, let's go to the Navamsha. This is the 9th divisional chart, and a very, very important chart, especially when looking at the atmakaraka. Okay, where is his atmakaraka? It's here in Virgo. Mercury is in Virgo. Because it is a feminine sign, we count backwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the 5th from his atmakaraka is Venus and Ketu. So he has 3. He has all 3. He has Jupiter, Venus, and Ketu. A very good astrologer. Okay. Now in his padas, this is a chart that shows the padas. He doesn't have anything in his upapada, and he doesn't have anything in his pada. So, but this is plenty. This is plenty to do it. Can show a very good astrologer. Okay, now let's go to B.V. Raman. Is a very famous Indian astrologer, and I just want to remind everybody that I use tropical positions. I do not use sidereal positions. So if this looks foreign to you, you're a Vedic astrologer and use sidereal. That's why. Okay. All right, so B.V. Raman's atmakaraka is Venus. So he already has, as his atmakaraka, an astrological planet. Here's Venus in Leo. Since it is a masculine sign, then we're going to count forwards. So he already has some astrological ability. That 1, 2, nothing in the 2nd, no Jupiter and Ketu there. 3, there's Ketu, boom. In the 8th house, boom. Another, he already has it just by that alone. But then we go 3, 4, 5, and there's Jupiter. So this guy has an incredible chart for being an astrologer. He has all the astrological significations there. Okay. All right, let's go over to his Navamsha and see if he has it here. Venus is in Scorpio, so we count backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, nothing there of import. Let's go to his padas. Okay, the upapada has Mercury and Mars in Virgo. So 1, 2, he would have Venus here from his upapada. And 3, 4, 5, he doesn't have anything else besides the Venus in the third or the second from the upapada. Let's try the pada. Okay, his pada's here with Saturn and Moon there. So since it's a masculine sign of Gemini, we're going to count 3. 1, 2, 3. There's Venus, 4, 5, and there's Ketu. Okay, and Ketu, as I said, is with the 8th house Lord, or in the 8th house, conjoined the 8th house cusp. And then when you count 3 from the pada, 1, 2, 3, there's Venus. So he's got both Venus and Ketu from the pada. So all in all, a very good chart for an astrologer. And well, that's it. That's just how I wanted to discuss this great technique. And if you want to check your own charts, feel free to do so with this new technique. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.